Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benazar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, it's good to see you. It is a special show because I feel like you need to take a victory lap over Russell Wilson.
I really do. I was talking about it all summer long. You didn't believe me. I don't think anybody believed me. This man was a $275 million man, and people loved it. They're like, he's going to the Super Bowl. He's doing all this. That game last night, the Thursday night game, terrible game.
So not only is he exposed as a phony, as not being authentic, as a poser, as being someone who he isn't, now he's also a terrible quarterback. And that part wasn't clear to us before the last few weeks. Obviously, week one was bad in Seattle. We thought maybe it gets better. Maybe he's emotional. It hasn't. They barely beat Houston. And now to lose that game last night, maybe the most winnable game of any NFL team had this year.
Sure.
Matt Ryan died multiple times in the pocket last night, like more than once. And he got up and he was barking at his team. He was so mad. And he thought there's no way the Broncos can lose this game. And Russell Wilson and their hack job coach, Nathaniel Hackett.
I got Russell Wilson memes right here. I got them all lined up. Just like
teams who ended up missing on the Russell Wilson sweepstakes partying. Yeah. It's so true. And I just have to give you so much credit as you click through these. Thanks for watching us live on YouTube. If you're watching the visuals, Mike, you know trends before anyone else. And you've always known this with podcasts. We've been doing this for 15 years now, with technology, with whatever people are consuming. You always know beforehand. And you jumped off the Russell Wilson bandwagon at the perfect time.
Yeah. I mean, last night I was watching and I texted you. I'm like, hey, we should just play Madden because this game is so goddamn bad. There were no touchdowns scored the entire game, right? No touchdowns at all.
No.
It was
they played 5 quarters.
It went into overtime. Didn't watch overtime. It was, there is a Broncos fan in my life and your life out here. You know, our friend Josh, he's a big Broncos fan. And I feel like he's just now realizing that this is it. This is like, you're stuck with Russ for all this. And this is like, I have so many memes. I just wanted to bring up all these memes I have. So that's what I have
great to see. It's just amazing. Not only is he their quarterback, they gave up so many draft picks to acquire him, and they hired a head coach who might work well with him, who clearly doesn't, and they gave him $245 million guaranteed, one of the biggest contracts in NFL history, from an ownership group who clearly doesn't have a clue. No. As someone said last night, I think it was Warren Sharp, Mike, one of our guys, one of our experts. He said it's the GM who paid him all that money, $275 million. And then you can blame the ownership who bought the team for all that money. But really, we should all look inward for watching the game on a subscription service that we pay for, Prime Video last night.
Well, we didn't think it was going to be that bad. You know, going into the game, I'm like, okay, Colts beat KC, right? So they should be good. And Denver, you know, Russell's just getting warmed up, getting ready to go. You even see like during the broadcast, like Al Michaels is like, oh, you know, sometimes a game is really bad. It's like, it's bad. It's so good. And you're hearing now, Al's literally losing his mind watching the game.
Well, Al doesn't do games at this level, right? He's Sunday Night Football. They do flex matchups. He hasn't had a bad matchup in years.
I know. And do you still hear it between him and Kirk? Like, there's no chemistry at all. Like, Kirk literally...
You can't unhear it. After you say that, they don't talk to each other. They're like on 2 separate sides of the planet.
I still don't think Kirk knows NFL football. And he's talking about it like he's been there before. It's like, yeah, you know, Jonathan Taylor, he's one of the best in the league. And it is it's like you're playing a Madden game and he just inserts name. Like, here's what you have to say. One of the most electrifying players in the league, Jonathan Taylor, or, you know, stuff like that. It's just like, okay, like, sure. Great. This is a great broadcast. So right now, I think Thursday Night Football is losing. Broncos are losing. And I think it all goes to the coach for the Broncos. Because that guy even fired somebody. He's like, we have to make a new decision. The end of the game. How about the end of the game to win the game in overtime? They did what Russell did in the Super Bowl where they lost. They threw the ball. They should have 1 yard. 1 yard. Russell could have done it.
Let's back that up a second. Okay. They got stuffed on third and 2 late in the game. Yes. They're down 3 in overtime. Clock's kicking down. The Colts aren't going to go score again. It's either going to end as a tie or you're going to win it. It's hard to lose it at that point, right? It's actually hard to do on 3rd and 2 from like the 5. Yeah, those are the options, and they did lose. But they ran the ball, and it looked like Melvin Gordon was going to get it. He got stuffed. It was a great tackle. Like someone steamed him right before the first down line. And so then it was 4th and 1, and the announcers, like, to Herbstreit's credit, if you want to bash him, give him credit, he's like, get Russell out of the pocket, run him around somewhere. Instead, it was shotgun, which apparently they've been in shotgun in the red zone many times this year. They haven't scored once from the shotgun in the red zone. Why do that again? And then it was a straight drop back, and it was like a quick slant. It wasn't even anything creative. Plus, he had a guy wide open on the right they never even looked at that made him look even worse. It was such a comedy of errors.
It goes back to when I was texting you, Russell's short for a quarterback, right? He's not a tall, towering dude. And did you see the defensive like tackles for the Colts? The one guy was 6'7".
One was 6'7". Yeah.
6'7". I couldn't even, I was like, that dude is massive. I don't want him coming anywhere.
Like 8 or 9 inches taller than Russell.
Yeah. So his hands are going up even higher, batting down balls. I don't think he saw the guy, because when you were watching that video and you could see it multiple times and you saw the guy at the end take off his helmet and just slam it on the ground, like he clearly knew he was wide open.
Yeah.
I don't think Russell saw him on the side because he was like kind of at the angle and he was looking this way, but I don't know what's going on. They could be the worst team in the league, but they won some games. So I don't know who's actually the worst.
They could still be the worst. Houston's pretty bad who they beat. We'll see who else. That is an interesting question. So I guess Russell never even looked to the right. I mean, it's one thing if you can't see him when he looks over there, but at least turn your head and act like you're giving all your reads a look before jamming in that ball to Sutton. He wasn't open at all. And I think Gilmore made the play yet again. Who is to blame? So you said the coach is to blame. I think Russell deserves so much blame because last night, the coach made the right call on 4th and 1. I'm okay with the pass. I like more rollout. I like more play action. I don't like the straight drop back from the gun, but he put the ball in Russell's hands. And that's something he didn't do against Seattle when he let the clock tick down and McManus kicked it. So at least he learned from that. Russell didn't execute all night especially on the last play. So I blame Russell much more.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, remember when Peyton was there and Peyton didn't like a call? He would go in and audible. I don't feel like we see quarterbacks go in and call Omaha 45. We're going to audible over to this. Russ could have audibled out, right? He could have audibled out of this play and be like, you know what? I'm going to run the ball up the middle, or I'm going to do a QB sneak here, like audible into that and do something better, because you can't trust his throws. And you saw some of those. I mean, I was blasting the thread this morning with multiple Denver Bronco memes left and right. Russ can't throw the ball anymore. He can't throw it deep.
There's 3 residents in that thread that live in Denver, and you were blasting them.
They were pretty silent. I think it's just tough being a Broncos fan when you know that there might be a little juice left in Russ. Maybe his cookbook isn't open. Maybe he can try the cook a little, but I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, it's a fucking mess. That's where we're at.
I think we need to investigate a little bit why things have gotten so bad for Russell so quickly. And I think it's easy on the shows today. They call him a poser, a fraud, all these things. I think the week before we saw the Dolphins quarterback in a very scary scene. And I think CTE and concussions are a bigger deal than ever. Sure. Is Russell going through some kind of CTE brain trauma that makes him make completely stupid passes, can't complete easy passes, is missing everything? He's almost like a robot when he speaks now, and we've seen this time after time. Last night, the post-game press conference, embarrassing performance. Yeah. He's got to own it and move on. He goes, Broncos country, let's ride, and he whispered it as he walked away. It's like that's all he knew how to say. And it's like, is he okay mentally? Do we know if he's had brain damage from all of his hits?
I think it might just be this dude just locked in, guaranteed money, right? Guaranteed. He got what, 165 million guaranteed contract. I don't know what residuals he got over from Seattle for his other massive contract. He's loaded now. He's got a lot of kids, him and Sierra. I don't know what's going on. They might have moved to Denver. I think after a while, I think those last 2 years when he was injured in Seattle, not playing very well, I think it kind of took a toll on him. And I don't know if he actually has CTE. He could have it, but it almost seems like he's not able to fully be in the game. He's not there. He's not focusing on the game. We can even say Mitch Trubisky was trying harder to win games than Russell Wilson. And that's pretty bad. When you look at Russ and you're like, hey, let's just punt it. Who cares? He's not in it. And I saw something about Richard Sherman, about these guys that want to win it, the testosterone, the drive to go and win. And I really liked it because it made sense. It's you see Tampa Brady, Tampa Bay with Brady. You see Brady out there. He is fucking furious. He wants to win a fucking game. This is all he's doing for that, 90 minutes or whatever he's out there on the field. And I think that's what it is. I think he has no drive to actually win a game. And that's sad, but that's the truth.
I think you're the Russell Wilson expert, so we have to take that for what it is. And I think
Sad.
you're probably right. We're going to get to Brady in a second, and we're going to get to all your picks for this week because I know you have some
Yeah.
good picks. I know you've been on a real roll. So before we get to that, my buddy and someone Kevin Clark from The Ringer, he had 2 ideas to fix Thursday Night Football. Can I share these with you?
Yeah.
Maybe a little game of bullshit or believe.
I love
Bullshit
it.
or
Yeah.
believe.
No sound effects. We're in the
effects
future now.
again.
Yeah.
We're really trying. Okay, bullshit or believe on Kevin Clark's first idea to save Thursday Night Football.
Okay.
Amazon should just sign Lamar Jackson for $500 million guaranteed, and he can enter games like this last night and just do cool stuff for a while for whichever team needs him, like a recurring TNF character when he's needed. It solves everyone's problems.
Well, I think I saw something about that with Peyton Manning. Like, he should have been the all-time quarterback. Like, come in, you can play on both sides, and you can see which team can win. Like it, don't think it's gonna happen, but it's something like the Pro Bowl. Like, they're not doing the game anymore. They're just doing skills competition, and I think that's where we're gonna really see if like these NFL quarterbacks are actually good, because you can see sometimes like they're not that accurate.
That's
when
true.
They actually
That's
do
true.
these competitions. So I'm excited. I'm actually excited for the Pro Bowl. But yes,
we'll see how that happens. Or the Pro Bowl Skills Challenge, whatever it is. I just like the Lamar Jackson idea because he needs money.
I like it.
Bezos will pay him more than the Ravens would pay him, and then you just pop up on Thursdays, like you're on NBC and you're on a show on Thursday.
Is that another thing? Do you think Lamar is going to get like the first $500 million contract or something? Like, he has to make more money than
from
Russell.
Bezos. Yeah,
yeah, from somebody. Yeah,
not from a team. Yeah,
he's the official quarterback. The official quarterback for Thursday Night Football, Lamar Jackson. Yes.
I think he should be, and just fix it. Yeah. I mean, we have Washington, Chicago next week. We need 2 Lamar Jacksons to save us from that.
You want to go see a movie next Thursday? We should go see a movie.
Let's make plans. Yeah. The second idea to fix TNF, and this one's even better. It's also, this is from Kevin Clark, our buddy at The Ringer. The best platform for Bill Belichick to do a bar rescue style takeover of one franchise per week and fix them with his game plans and advice. If there's a bad game coming up, Belichick takes over the worst team, gets them going, and then moves on to get someone else going.
I kind of like that. I think sometimes, it's nice. You hire those consultants, they come in, they're like, this is what's wrong. Some of they need it. I think that Broncos need it for sure. I like that idea. That's a good one. I don't think it will solve it in this next few years, but I think
maybe more long-term, but he's very creative. Shout out Kevin Clark.
Creative. All right. What do you want to talk about? I feel like there's a lot. You want to talk Tampa Bay? You want to
Tampa Bay, yeah. Tom Brady, you mentioned him a moment ago. The divorce is now official. We know that they have divorce lawyers. We know they're living in different houses. And the thing I keep thinking about, I don't know where you want to go with this, but the thing I keep thinking about is this guy came back. He retired. He came back to football, maybe to spite Adam Schefter, but more likely, now that we're all looking at it, he did it just to beat up on the NFC South. He did it to beat the Falcons and the Panthers and the Saints.
So I heard a clip of him talking in 2020 when I think he came to Tampa, right? I think he came to Tampa in 2020.
Yeah.
Around that time. Mm-hmm. He was on Howard Stern, and he was like very open, very, very open, talking about Giselle and the life, and like, Giselle wants to do stuff. I come home after the football season, and he's like, well, I got to go do my other business stuff. I got to do TB12, all this other stuff, Brady brand. He's got all this other empire. And it sounded like there was a little conflict there. So my theory is I think they actually they were in the process of getting divorced after last season. And I think that's why he was like, I'm going to retire. Things went south. He's like, ding, ding, ding. I got to go back to the NFL. I'm going to be single this year. No more wife. No more kids. I'm just going to focus on football. I think this happened many, many months ago. And I think that's why he unannounced his retirement.
So he unannounced because he was going to spend more time with his kids, or at that time you're saying that's when Giselle sprang it on him and he's like, shit, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I need to go back to football.
I think sometimes it's hard when all of a sudden you are not with your partner, and then you're with your partner for 24/7 for, I guess, the rest of his life. He's going to be there. I think maybe those weeks were, hey, I'm going to retire. But then as the weeks added up, he's like, I don't think this is working. They probably got a divorce or probably talked about it. And I think that's when he unannounced his retirement, because the way he did it, it sounded real, right? It sounded like we heard a lot of the information, like, hey, the big thing, like I'm retiring. Thank you, everybody. I think something happened. And why wouldn't you? If you were married, Jeremy, and all of a sudden you got divorced, you'd be like, I'm going back. I'm doing my wild shit. I'm going to go jump off cliffs and skydive. I'm going back to it. because now what am I going to do? I'm not going to sit alone in the house and be a Fox broadcaster. I'm going to go play football for one more year. And he's still got it
And
in him.
Brady's wild shit is throwing to Russell Gage when all of his top receivers are not
Yeah.
playing, and you play against the Falcons, and that's just his scary shit that he's going through. It's just amazing that he chose this brand of football that we've seen so far this year, which has been ugly. He's chosen ugly football over trying to save his marriage, over being there for his kids as their parents divorce, whatever way you want to look at it from whatever perspective. He's out there sucking for the Bucs right now. They're not playing good. And maybe that changes this week against a bad Falcons defense. Maybe, Evans and Godwin are back and healthy, and maybe they play better going forward. It's just been ugly football so far for the Bucs.
Do you think that, I'm sure a lot of stuff was going on. Maybe it was finalized this week. I think in the next few weeks, he's a little more clear, living by himself. He's with his team. It's kind of, I always like hear, you hear all these stories about like military guys coming back and they just missed like the bond with the dudes, like out there doing whatever, like kind of that bond, the chemistry with their guys. Like when you play team sports, stuff like that. Like those are moments you really like. And then sometimes when you come down, like, I'm not going to, there's no thrill anymore. I think that's what's going on with Brady. I think he needs to just get back to it. Obviously, he lost some kind of weight. Something was going on. Maybe he was a little sad for a little while. We just got to get Brady. We got to get him some real food. We got to get him off the TB12 diet. I think he's going to be good. Little tease. We might have Tampa in our contest this week.
That would be a tease because they're a big home favorite. So it means your manifesto's out the door. We'll get more on that coming up. But first, you got to share the conspiracy theory that you shared with me and our thread. A big conspiracy theory, folks. And Brady, apparently Giselle has given quotes in the past that she is a witch and she believes in witchcraft. Maybe she has pulled the spirit out of Tom, and that's why his face is so skinny, because his spirit has actually left his body. It would also explain why he's throwing for 160 yards a game.
Well, supposedly this was like a thing. Like it's been known. She's done like all these like seances and stuff. I believe it. I think sometimes people come from a different background and spiritually, like they maybe like those kind of crafty, witchcrafty stuff. I believe it 100%. I believe in ghosts. So why wouldn't I believe Giselle could put a spell?
You are the ghost guy. That's right. You are the ghost guy.
So I believe Giselle. I wouldn't mess with Giselle. Clearly it's not, it's affecting him a lot. So that's a great conspiracy. We can put a link to that conspiracy so people can really watch it, but people really break it down on TikTok. It's a 4-minute video on how Giselle's a witch.
I would be into a recurring segment on our show where we just bring TikTokers on to tell us what's going on with Tom Brady and Giselle.
I'll just keep, I mean, maybe we can just start a TikTok TB thread and we can see what's going on there. See how the witchcraft is doing. All right. I have 2 other things. Do we want to talk about AB in Dubai exposing himself and going wild?
It's not like a good story, especially on the heels of like Tua's head injury and the idea of CTE affecting players long term. And we know like Antonio Brown flipped the switch after that Bengals hit, where like we see these clips and he's so articulate and like crediting Ben, and now he's like so inappropriate, and he's so inappropriate year after year and continent after continent, and it's like everywhere he goes, he's just causing problems. It's like gotten sad more than anything, right?
It's kind of crazy, but like some of it. Like after he was in Dubai, he posted a photo of Giselle and him hugging and like just like teasing Tom Brady. Then today I saw the report. He's like officially locked. He's in jail right now for like stealing jewelry. So that's like just,
I saw there was a report. I thought he left the country before they arrested him. Is he really? He's in Dubai jail?
I think he's arrested. I thought he was.
I don't think you want to be in jail in Dubai.
No, I think that's where they just chop off heads. Just
you might never get out. I mean, Brittany Griner's in Russia and they won't let her do anything, and she shouldn't even be there, obviously.
Yeah, Biden just freed everybody from all the weed charges, so I don't know what Russia's doing out there. Yeah.
It's true. Sad story for AB. Yeah. If he's detained, that's rough. I don't know how he gets out of that.
All right, I've one more story, but 3 stories within it. What do you got? I have a weird one. You probably
Let's hear yours. Okay. Go for it.
So this is more like Scandal City. A lot of stuff's been going on. So I've been weirdly watching a lot of poker on TV. I don't know why. I think after reading a poker book, I really got into like the theory of it and all this. But then my algorithm started showing me stuff. And I am now deep into the world of this big scandal in poker. Now, have you seen anything about this?
No, it hasn't crossed my feed.
So supposedly there's a poker show that's on TV that's live broadcast, and it's like cash game. They play poker. This girl supposedly was cheating and gave back like $130,000 after the show, and it kind of goes back and forth. But the 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 thing that was happening was they said she had a little device on her that was buzzing like 2 times yes you can bet, 2 times no you should get out. Now that's not confirmed, but things have been leaking saying somebody at the Hard Rock Casino might have also stolen $15,000, so he might have been in on it. So this is like a really big scandal in the poker world. I didn't know these things were like happening, that these live games all the time.
Yeah.
But then there was, I'm sure you heard of the chess cheating scandal recently with the butt plugs and the buzzes up the butt.
Yeah.
And with that one was interesting because how they determined he was cheating, they were saying like a grandmaster, like the ultimate poker chess player, made 70% of the correct moves during a game. Like a perfect game is 100. And that's what a computer would play. And he was playing at 100% perfect game, making all the right moves in advance to make all the to win, basically. So that's another cheating scandal. And then another one that I saw was a phishing scandal. I got into this world.
I saw the fishing scandal. They had lead. They put lead weights inside the winning fish.
Or like chicken cutlet. Like just they shoved it with whatever they could
Why is
find.
everyone cheating? What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. But I just found it crazy that there's like all these scandals in these like obscure sports. Like
I didn't super even think, niche.
Like fish cheating, chess. Like I don't care about anything about chess. But I guess that world. So I just wanted to bring up the cheating scandals everywhere. Really into poker. I'm ready to play a poker game anytime.
Wow.
I'm ready.
Need a local game. I think that you talk about the buzzer, the first one for poker. That's how the Houston Astros were cheating on the sign stealing. Remember the sign stealing wasn't the stop sign stealing. It was the fingers, as we educated you on. And it turns out the batters were wearing buzzers, and the people in the clubhouse would buzz them twice for a fastball, once for off speed. So we've seen that before. Come on, poker players, get a little more creative in how you cheat, at least like the other two. The butt plug and the vibrator. I don't see much of that. So congrats to you on that new one for the chess guy. And then the fish, I mean, do better, right? Do better than lead weights in the fish. You can do better.
Well, it's interesting because these haven't been around and now all of a sudden they're getting like outed. And I don't know why all of a sudden everybody's getting caught. So clearly you need to do something better. It's a game. You're like, why cheat at this game if you're trying to like, it's a competition. If it's with friends, go ahead. Cheat all you want. Competition.
It's a tough economy, Mike. People need to get their payouts one way or the other.
All right. What do you want to do? What else you got?
Let's got my picks.
All right. I got the picks.
How'd you do last week?
We didn't do good. It was 2-3 last week. It was not a good week. A lot of arguments. Clean
on the phone.
Up. I know.
So this week you did something different. You sent your partner away. You actually told him, go to the other coast, East Coast, and we'll see if this works out.
Yes. And now I was told since, Erin, my wife, she was like, I was listening to the podcast. How do people know who the mutual friend is? I said, well, it's, mutual friend. There's only one mutual friend. So I was told we need to use his name. Now we never use his name.
I thought the beauty of it is that he's just a mutual friend.
That's what I thought too.
I thought it's like an ambiguous character. Like, he might not even be real. He's out there.
That's what I thought too. She's like, no one's in on the joke. You guys are the only ones in on the joke.
I don't know if he wants his name out there. I don't know.
Okay, so I feel like we should use his name so people know. Then they can be more like characters, right? Because we talk about our lawyer friend.
I think mutual friends. I actually disagree with this person who gave you that advice. Okay. I like the ambiguousness of it, and sometimes we have a lawyer friend, we have a Denver friend, we have a space friend. Yeah, we have all these friends. They don't need names.
I said. It's literally the same defense that I said. Like, well, we got all these other names for people. So, all right, we'll keep it like that. The mutual friend and I have been talking this week. Very, very casual. I don't like where he's been talking to me. One, talked to me at the dog park the other day. I said, well, how are you going to sit down and focus on this with, Benny running around? Then he's now in North Carolina, just hanging out, doesn't have his computer, just like going off the hips here. Wow. So this week's going to be a little tough. But before, I wanted to show you this. I found this. I thought it was very interesting. How do I? Oh, there it is. This is Action Sports put this together. And this is a luck ranking of teams. And what they were saying was, if your team is lucky compared to an unlucky team, so we can say Miami right here is a very lucky team. The lower the score, the higher the luck chance. And if New York here, the Jets, are at 21, means they don't have as much luck as Miami does. And what they were saying was, for the past few weeks, any team with a differential of more than 10 luck points has been covering the spread. I think it was up here, covering the spread 13-4 against the spread. I'm also showing it on screen. So I thought it was interesting. We didn't factor it in. Our mutual friend called bullshit on this. So I'm keeping track this week of the top 10 teams that have the most luck points, and I'm going to see if they cover the game.
So your goal in this is to bet on lucky teams because they've been lucky so far.
Correct. You're basing, so like Kansas City is a favorite against Las Vegas, right? So what we're trying to determine here is, well, Kansas City seems like is a 9-point favorite, and not a 9-point luck score, and Las Vegas is a 31%, 31st team in luck. So now you could look at it both ways. Mutual friend was arguing, saying, well, if they're unlucky teams, well, does that mean every week they're going to be unlucky, or should we bet on the unlucky team? I think it becomes more of like a mindset and game management, how to determine luck. I don't know what factors they put in there, but I think it's like turnovers, fumbles, injuries, stuff like that. So these are the top.
And then
team.
my question would just be,
Yes.
and you're going to reveal these for the listeners in a second, but my question would be, will teams stay lucky, or are the odds are that the lucky teams don't stay lucky because luck runs out, and then other teams will get more lucky in the future? I guess you could look at it either way.
I guess to me, I was thinking this, let's not think of it as luck. Let's think of it as you're a better game management team, and with better planning and management, you should have more things fall your way than other teams that aren't. So we could say the teams on the left here that don't have very good luck scores are pretty bad teams. Like the Rams have been pretty bad. The Jets have been pretty bad. The Saints have been pretty bad. Cincinnati. So I don't know if it's because they're losing, they're unlucky, but I'm going to track it this week. So I'm going to screenshot the top 10, and we're going to see what this will be next week. And I'm just going to see 13-4 is not bad for a few weeks of stats. So
you would love that.
Yes, I would definitely love that. So we went 2-3 last week. I think we're 500. We are 10-10. Not great. Not bad. Not bad. We're still in the running. We got a long season ahead. So, okay.
Before you start with week 5, I just want to set this up. I was looking at the lines. I'm always looking at them because I'm thinking along with you, like you have work to do. What are you going to do this week? And I was looking at the lines and I was like, there's a lot of small lines this week, a lot of games that could go either way. Yeah. And then you also teased earlier, in case you missed it, he gave us a little Easter egg, Mike did, when you said you might take the Bucks, which is very against your style. I know they're a big home favorite. So that being said, let's get to the Bucks.
Well, we can start there. Let's start with Tampa Bay. Now, this goes against all our manifesto rules.
Yeah, the lawyer friend will be upset about that.
Yeah. Road division dog. We should have taken Atlanta at plus 8.5. But to me, I'm thinking this is a pure Tom Brady play. Tom is pissed. Public is out there. They know he's divorced. He's going to come out there and destroy Atlanta this week. Now, the spread's a little high. It's 8.5. I know we haven't seen good football out of them. We both liked this at the beginning of the week. We liked it at 9. I wish it was 9 because we could push if a lot of field goals here, but it's 8.5. So we could probably, let's hope we can win this. This was my second strongest pick of the week. So we started a weight system because we're getting a little crazy. Now, if you see our board, I can pull our board up if you want.
Oh boy, more visuals.
We don't need to. I'll just see it. Here, I'll put it here.
Sure.
I put an M4 here. So 5 is your highest weighted game where you want it the most.
Okay.
And I was at 4 here, and then he agreed, and then we have its pick for the week. So that's where we're at. So
I like that.
It was rough.
So, well, let's break this one down. First, You're right. Brady's pissed because it's public. It's been reported through some TMZ type places, but now it's really out there. We all know the truth. He's going to be asked about after the game. He's coming in hot. He's got Godwin's legs back under him, heavily targeted last week, coming off the ACL and the hamstring. Plus, Mike Evans is a beast every time he plays. Just try not to get suspended, and he'll play more often. Here's a few things about the Falcons. Cordell Patterson out just today. Kyle Pitts out. They're two best playmakers. But here's the thing. The line has moved to 10 to 10.5 on the Kyle Pitts news.
Good.
You're only getting it at 8.5.
Yes. So we locked
That's a
it in the
good thing for you.
contest. That's a
That's a
good thing.
good thing, right?
It's a
That's
good
good.
thing for us.
Yeah.
Now it's a bad thing if we bet on Atlanta. So
But you
that's
didn't, and so we love the pick, and I get
we
it.
love
I
the
get the
pick.
confidence in it.
We love it. All right, good, good. I like that. Next one, we're taking the manifesto. This is going for the manifesto here.
Okay,
We're
good.
taking Pittsburgh, a 14-point dog on the road in Buffalo. We had to do it. I saw
Here's
it.
a shocker.
This is
With
my
our
note.
mutual friend.
So this was his least favorite game. This was my favorite game.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a little different because we have a unknown in a rookie quarterback. Now, some say that could be bad, but I think this is going to be a positive thing. We all know Mitch Trubisky is not good. I think the unknown of a quarterback without any footage on it, you can do trickery that you couldn't do if you had Mitch Trubisky because you know his ceiling. We don't know what Pickens' ceiling is, right? We just know that he's a rookie. He's coming out here. Little game management, but with a little game management, I think it can go a long way. And hopefully Pittsburgh defense can hold up to Buffalo. Now, that's the scary part.
Mike, Kenny Pickett threw a ton of passes last week. 0 of them touched the turf. 0 hit the grass.
Okay.
They were all
Yeah.
caught by someone, whether it was his team or the other team. They were
There was a
all
few
caught. And
yes,
they're all caught by someone.
That's a
So
good
that's
way of
something.
looking at it. Yes, they were all caught.
They're very catchable balls. The line is huge, and it's hard to say because I think you're onto something. I like the idea of no one knows Kenny Pickett over a full game. It's
Yeah.
almost like a week one where no one knows anything, except
Mm-hmm.
we know a lot about the Bills, and people are probably overemphasizing the Bills versus the unknown, and maybe the line's too high, so it's actually a way to get one on the odds makers. And I like the pick, so we're 2 for 2, and that doesn't happen.
Well, it's more about like if you were in a survivor contest or just a normal NFL gambler, like let's say our lawyer friend, or a lawyer friend would look at this and maybe say, I don't want to bet this game. The games that no one wants to bet are the games that we need to be taking because those are the games that we might have a slight edge on because the public hasn't moved the line too much, right? So we want to take the value in the line. So I wish it was 14.5. It's 14. I think hopefully we lose by 10. That's where I'm predicting the score will be. And the over under in this game is only 47, I think. So
they're not expecting Pittsburgh to score much.
I don't think so. Definitely not much.
Win by 14. 46 total.
Next game, we're going to be taking, this was a last minute swap out. We talked about Green Bay. We liked him during the week. This is a home favorite, big home favorite, 8 points at home. New York, they're down. Tyrod got hurt last week. Danny Dimes got hurt. I think he's back this week. I don't think this is a game. This is a game that's like we have to bet because of the injuries on the other side. And if they don't have a quarterback, they had to use. I was telling you guys, we were watching the game last week. Saquon Barkley was in as quarterback, as emergency quarterback.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, you really identified that.
I'm all about this game, and I think Green Bay is a better team than we've seen, and they've had a little rough start. They can't score a lot of points. I'm hoping this game they can score some points and really go out there and prove something.
Our wise listeners, like the lawyer friend, they're yelling at their phone right now as you went through that, Mike, because the Packers are not at home. They're actually in London, and so they're not a home. Like the home favorite goes out the window, right?
It does, but they're still technically home, so you don't give them home field advantage.
Which makes me wonder why the line is so big. The Giants have been playing better. Daniel Jones is going to play. Saquon Barkley is going to play. Why is the line so big?
I think it's perception, and it does worry me. But these London games, a lot of weird things happen. So
I stay away from London games. I sleep through the beginning here on the West Coast, 6:30 a.m. Sometimes Alvin Kamara is inactive all of a sudden. It's just worth sleeping through on the West Coast.
I do like waking up and like seeing football on. It's kind of fun. So I wanted to be a part of it. I really liked it during the week, and I thought this was a good game to jump on for. So we're on it, and I know it's in London. I didn't mention it, but I did know it was there because that's at the top of our list here. 9:30.
Thank God we sent Aaron Rodgers to London the second week because last week was Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, and that's like a very British quarterback battle. Like those two could be like Brits, if you will.
Yeah. All right. Next game, we're taking your Dolphins. We saw the injury last week. We're at the bar.
Tough to watch.
I like Teddy. I like Teddy Bridgewater. He covers. He plays well. He can game manage. He wears 2 gloves. They're playing the Jets. I don't believe in the Jets. I don't believe in Zach Wilson. I think they were better with Joe Flacco. They are getting They're giving up 3.5 points on the road in New York. I like Miami. I think they're a good team. I would think with Tyreek, hopefully Tyreek plays. I saw a little injury report right before we started recording.
Saw that.
I think this is a good game. This is a good game for Miami.
Listen, Teddy Bridgewater is one of the biggest paid backups in the league for a reason, because he is one of the best backups. So there shouldn't be that much fall off in the Dolphins, despite how well they've been playing. Plus, you say Teddy's old. He doesn't have arm strength. Last week in that Thursday night game, he wound up for a 61-yard pass, 61 air yards to Tyreek. It was completed for the longest air yard completion in the NFL so far this season. Teddy's not lacking arm strength. I think Teddy will be fine. The Jets aren't good. Zach Wilson's not good. They did come back on the Steelers last week, but he had like one good drive and like 17 bad drives. So I think it's okay.
Okay, good. I like that. A little confident. It's very hard. It's getting harder and harder because you start forgetting who won, who beat what.
And all the things you said, like this team beat this team, but it's always canceled out by week 4 of like someone else beat someone else to mess it all
up. Next one, Seattle. We saw them play great against Detroit. They scored a lot of points. Geno's back. Geno's playing well. Now, this one was the only reason I wanted to take this is Seattle's getting 5.5 points. The Saints have flown from London, no bye, and they're playing this week at home. Now, you've traveled overseas. I've traveled overseas. I'm exhausted when I come back. There's like a few days you're really tired. I'm hoping training's not very well. Jameis is still kind of hurt. Is Kamara back playing?
I think he is until he isn't.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I just feel like there's a lot of injuries right now on that offense. Like Taysom Hill's been injured, paid a lot for him in fantasy, and he has not played a snap since I got him. I like Seattle. I think their defense is lacking, but I think they make up for it if they can have some explosive plays and play well.
I think Taysom Hill had a rushing touchdown last week. Basically, when Kamara doesn't play, he does have a rushing touchdown.
He's been injured a lot. There's a lot of injury reports on him, so I don't like it.
That's true. I agree with the travel back from Europe. It's looking like another Andy Dalton week. Jameis, say what you will, but he's been slinging it downfield. Andy Dalton did not do that. They didn't look too good last week. Although Olave looks like a great rookie receiver.
He looks great. Yeah, he's looking good. These are games like I don't even know if I want to watch some of these games this week. Some of them just seem so bad. And you can see on our board here, we kind of like New England. We kind of liked Tony liked San Francisco. I liked Rams. Just up and down. We really go back and forth. So we'll see what happens this week.
Listen, I like to give you these gems that you don't always think of. And I want you to go, huh? And I hope this is one. A game you didn't say. So I don't know if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm just going to give it to you.
Yeah.
The Chargers play the Browns on Sunday at 1:00 in Cleveland. Okay. Behind my shoulder here are the MLB playoffs. At 4:00 on Sunday, the Cleveland Guardians play a playoff game in Cleveland next to the Browns stadium.
Okay.
My hypothesis is that's not going to be a good crowd for Cleveland, and that's not going to be a good home field for Cleveland. And the Chargers are only favored by 2.5 in Cleveland. So take away the playoff thing. I'm like, that seems a little small. I know they're missing guys. Herbert's fine. Eckler's fine. And then you look at the Browns with Jacoby. What are they doing? And they're only going to be a 2.5 dog. And all the big Cleveland diehards are across the street at the baseball game. What do you think?
we were on Cleveland early in the week, and we almost put them in the contest. We swapped them out for Green Bay. We like Cleveland. We like the running game. Strong runners. Chargers can't stop the run. And I think it's going to be a really close game. We almost took the points. I think this is going to be a surprising game for Cleveland. I'm glad I have money on Cleveland to win the Super Bowl. That's what I'm going to say. I think they could be good if Deshaun comes back and things are looking good for them. They look a little sloppy, but they have that 1-2 punch with Chubb and I always forget his other name, and Hunt. They got runners.
Who'd they play last week when Jacoby was like flailing around? It was ugly, Mike. It was
a terrible game. Yeah, terrible game. But
who was that against?
It's okay. Every week, other teams look bad and other teams look good, and I don't know anymore. So,
if the Chargers cover, I'm going to lead with that next week.
Oh, I'm gonna put your name right here. I got you input.
I find these I look for these Easter eggs because you just look for the advantage. I know you do too. You're just looking for whatever advantage you can find, and I think I may have found one here.
I mean, last week. So what I did last week, I did a recap, and I was going through and seeing like how many home favorites covered and how many road dogs covered. Very equal on both sides. It's like a 50-50 split. Road dogs, road favorites. So it's interesting to see because it's like, is this a trend? Which way is Vegas going? It's a big game, and I don't know which way. I don't know how to win it. So
That's fair.
maybe
I
one day.
thought one more game just to mention. It's a game we'll be watching in the 1 o'clock window in California, 4 o'clock on the East. Rams Cowboys. Rams played Monday night, embarrassed on the road
Mhm.
against a great defense in Dallas. I don't know why the Rams are favored in that game. They're favored by 5, and that seems like
I
a
know.
bad line to me.
I really like the Rams. I think
Really?
watching the Rams getting publicly humiliated and losing, I
Yeah.
think it's a good
Yeah.
spot for them to bounce back. Are we overvaluing the Dallas Cowboys right now? Do we think they're too good for what they are? I think this is a bounce back spot. I think Stafford could come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the
You're
public
fading the public. You're fading the public there. I hear
yes.
what you're doing. If you watch the Rams O
Oh, I
line
want
and then
yeah,
you watch
yeah.
Micah Parsons and you're like, wait, how is Micah Parsons going to be stopped on one play from that line?
I know. I feel like it's hard because you watch it, you're like, oh, they were really, really bad last week. And then sometimes those bad teams just come back and can win because it's matchups and game plans. I don't
Listen,
fucking know.
I'm devil's advocate. I just want you
I
over
know.
analyzing everything that you've already
Yeah, I
shared
know. Well,
so
I'm glad
far.
the picks are already in because now I'm like, why did it like as we talked about Green Bay, I'm like, I don't really like the 8 points. I can't unsubmit my picks. They're official. They're locked. And
Hey,
I tweeted them out.
well, good luck with that. Shout out to all of our unnamed friends, our mutual friend, our lawyer friend, our
Yeah.
space friend, our Hungarian friend, our Austin friend. We have so many friends and they don't
Yeah.
have names.
They don't have names. Yeah. Then that's how we do it. No names on the show. It's perfect.
Exactly.
Check
All
out
right.
thesportshangover.com. Swag is up there. It's getting cold out. We got the long sleeve sweaters. I showed you last week. If you're watching on YouTube, we got the great like mesh sweaters. They're really high quality. Get them on thesportshangover.com. We'll be back next week.